speech today. I hope it can be useful for all of us. Thank you for your attention. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Ibu, for your inspiring presentation. And your main point of your presentation will be our key takeaways today later. So, ladies and gentlemen, the second presenter is Bapak Aris Widianto. He is Director and Chief Risk and Sustainability Officer, CRSO Amarta. Amarta is a fintech startup specializing in working capital and mentoring unbanked women in rural village via a peer-to-peer platform. Pak Ari is the person behind a solid design and strategic partnership of Amarta with key institutional partners including banks, financial institutions, government, investment company, NGO, donor institution. He also the one who does impact and sustainability management to ensure Amarta business aligns with improving community and ecosystem well-being. Today, Pak Ali will share his experiences in Amarta. Pak Aris, you have a floor.
Terima kasih, Ibu Poppy. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And also thank you to Ibu Hadriani Uli Silalahi, and also Ibu Wali Kota, Ibu Dewanti Rumpoko as the host, the Mayor of Batu, Malang. This afternoon, I would like to highlight the importance of recovering stronger with financial technology, and especially on how access to finance help women, micro and small medium enterprise recover post the pandemic. Based on our research, the impact of the pandemic to the ultra micro and micro segment in Indonesia is huge. We discovered that more than 74% of the women, micro and MSME players experiencing reductions of income on their businesses. The range starts from 30% up to 70%, and many of them even went bankrupt. And the situation is caused by most of the micro and MSMEs, especially those operated by women, rely on face-to-face transactions. And as you know, during the pandemic, there are movement restrictions, there are lockdowns everywhere that prevents them to operate their businesses as usual. Of course, technology will help in terms of pivoting their business model from offline into offline. However, based on our research as well with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundations last year, that digital literacy and also the access to internet for women, especially in rural areas, are still become serious challenges. And also there are a phenomena that we call technophobia, where women are less digitally savvy compared to men. And this causes the digital transformations among women, especially those operating ultra micro and MSMEs, are lagging behind their peers of male players. So the situation has been the root cause why the ultra micro and micro segments are the one who suffer most during the pandemic. However, during the same period of research, we call it Amarta Indonesia Underserved Report 2021, we also discover an opportunity where we ask our respondents what are the most support that you need to recover during the pandemic. And 76.9% of them, most of them, said that the support that they need is working capital. So working capital is the #1 needs that our women, micro and MSME players want to recover themselves from the pandemic. So these figures even stood higher compared to even cash transfer, or we call it BLT, bantuan langsung tunai from the government, and any other supports like upgrading skills, trainings, prakerja, and also some other supports. So in this, with this fact, apparently non-bank financial institutions like Amarta emphasize its importance, that we could be the one that becomes the source of help to recover the economy, especially in rural areas when banking operations or banking services are not available. So fintech, financial technology like Amarta, which focusing on providing working capital loan even during the pandemic, will eventually the one that support these players to recover themselves from the pandemic. Why we are willing to take those risks, while probably other formal financial institutions like banks doesn't serve them, because financial technology has the technology and also has the know-how to take and to assess higher risk. Therefore, we are willing to take higher risk because we understand how to assess the risk, and therefore we could extend the loan to these women who are considered higher risk, with still maintaining a good quality of portfolio. So this is the one that becomes our hope. As you know, in Indonesia, we do have many non-bank financial services and financial technology players who are willing to take risks and to extend their loans, especially for the MSME players. So when we empower women financially through access to finance, actually we drive several key indicators of sustainability. So starting from working capital, we can also offer them with other digital financial services through our platform, for example, saving, digital payment, and also social commerce. Eventually, by providing all these features, all these products to women, especially in rural areas, they will have the capabilities to improve themselves from many underprivileges. For example, when the income increases, then the women can have better capacity to send their children to schools. They will be able to help their husband to renovate the houses, and also the women can provide better nutrition for their children. So starting from access to finance, we could unlock many potentials of these women, especially in rural areas, as long as we as the financial service providers also help them to manage their money well. That's why Ibu Poppy mentioned that it's very important to help improving the financial literacy of the women, so that they could manage their money well and they could be wiser in spending their money to improve the well-being metrics of the family. So based on Amarta's experience, after joining Amarta for 1 year, for example, through this group lending activities, 94.3% of the borrower feels their well-being, their living condition improves, not only financially, but also in other aspects of well-being. And also, by the way, currently Amarta has over 1 million women customers spread in more than 35,000 villages across Indonesia. So with this fact, with the provisions of access to working capital loan for women micro entrepreneurs, we will not only empower these women economically, but also it will improve the overall well-being of the entire families and also the quality of their life. And more specifically, during the pandemic, access to finance is proven effective in accelerating the economic recovery of the nation's post-pandemic. So that's all from me. Ibu Poppy, back to you. We can continue on the discussions.
You do have an impressive, remarkable achievement approach and program, Pak Arya Widianto. Applause. Thank you very much for your inspiring presentation, Pak Arya Widianto. And your highlight point will be our takeaway 2 days later. Ladies and gentlemen, the third presenter is the young talented woman, Miss Reisha Kania. She is the Director for Policy for Southeast Asia in Women's World Banking. At the Women's World Banking, she is responsible for bridging research into policy to tackle financial exclusion and promote financial well-being for women. I'm delighted to call Reisha. The floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Ibu Poppy, for the introductions. So my name is Resha Kania. I'm the Director of Policy for Southeast Asia at Women's World Banking. And Women World Banking is an advocacy-led nonprofit organizations that provide strategic support, technical assistance, and information to the key financial inclusion players, including policymakers and donors. We have a global network of diverse institutions that focus on helping the low-income woman through financial service. So today, I would like to present a global review on gender dimensions relevant to ultra micro and micro enterprise as lesson learned for policymakers and donors on developing gender responsive policy for women-led ultra micro and micro enterprise, especially as part of COVID-19 economic recovery plans. But before that, I would like to offer my sincere appreciations to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundations, the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade of Australia, or DFAT, and UK Aid, who have supported various research on this topic. They also partnered with us for developing the policy recommendations and follow it up with policy advocacy activities. So next, please. So I set the review to answer three main questions here. First, how has COVID-19 impacted women-led ultra micro and micro enterprise? Two, how have government, the private sectors, and civil society responded to mitigate the negative economic effects to women-led ultra micro and micro enterprises as a result of COVID-19? And the last one, what works to help women-led ultra micro and micro enterprise? Next, please. So let me start by responding to the first questions. How has COVID-19 impacted women-led ultra micro and micro enterprise? So as Ibu probably mentions, the key takeaway from yesterday's seminar, I think we all agree that in general, not only are women overrepresented in some of the sectors hardest hit by the COVID-19, but existing barriers to participation for women in the economy are being exacerbated. This is especially true for women-led micro enterprise and ultra micro. So in general, women-led ultra micro and micro enterprise were more likely than men-led to shut down. But I would like to provide a quick deep dive on this. So the figure in this slide shows that the breakdown of reason why female-owned business shut down. So the data from 52 countries, mostly low-income countries, confirms that higher drops in sales for women-led micro enterprise. Such business also report less cash available and a higher probability of falling in arrears. They subsequently experience a large drop in profit and an acceleration of losses. Another evidence data from Finmark, for example, also found that women-led micro entrepreneurs in Africa were more likely to have reported zero income due to the pandemic. So aside from existing micro enterprise filing, the pipeline of women-led micro enterprise that might lead to women-led MSME over time is failing more acutely. There are several social factors enabling situations. Most women-led ultra micro and micro enterprise are in informal sector, leaving them out of formal social protection measures, including dismissal, sick pay, or income support. And in some cases, ultra micro, such as for food vendors, for example, may shift towards a greater mobility demands. So food vendors might need to go from house to house during a lockdown to sell their food, for example. However, women restricted mobility limits their ability to participate in activities further away from home. So therefore, a shift toward the need for greater mobility as a result of lockdown could shift sectors toward being more male-dominated. So this disproportionate impact of the financial consequences of the pandemic on these women could also make it more difficult for them to pay back debt. Next, please. So the next important question is, how have governments, the private sectors, and civil society responded to mitigate the negative economic impact, the negative economic effect of women's-led ultra micro and micro enterprise due to the COVID-19? So studies in general shows that in majority of economic reliefs and recovery measures, unfortunately not gender sensitive or targeted at the warm economic impact on women-led ultra micro and micro enterprise. So for government programs, for example, many schemes that target women are generally reaching existing beneficiaries of social protection schemes or those already on other registries and therefore are potentially missing some of the most vulnerable. The government initiatives launched to respond to COVID-19 have struggled to identify those in need, which could end up accelerating inequalities. So as a result, government and policymakers will probably need to consider trade-off between payment or support schemes that can be deployed rapidly and the accuracy of identifying intended beneficiaries. As for donor response, a review found that donor programs were already focusing on women's economic empowerment in some way. However, it's not quite clear the extent to which their programs respond to the impact of women-led ultra micro and micro enterprise due to the pandemic. For the private sectors, the response mostly go to their workers and consumers. For workers, some companies have adopted family-friendly policies such as home-based, flexible work, which can help women manage to compete for care priorities and stay in employment through the crisis. Meanwhile, for consumer, that's a good example of response came from Africa, I think, that there are mobile money providers across Africa try to reduce or waive transaction fees, and efforts are being undertaken to provide digital payment to reduce person-to-person contact. So this response could support women normally excluded from formal banking to access the services such as saving and loans, and they can start business and receive payment. It is important to recognize, however, the existing challenge with technology-based solutions, including the gender digital divide, may increase inequalities. So there are also challenges around effectively targeting the most vulnerable with digital payment. So meanwhile, the civil society groups also play a crucial role in advocacy to ensure the views and needs of women are integrated into government economic stimulus and recovery plans. Supporting MSME is also often politically popular. MSME entrepreneurs are often active in politics and represent the voter category that may switch sides according to policy. But in many countries, business also have received a large fractions of government support. This support has included direct grants and wet subsidies, also subsidized interest rate and utility subsidies such as electricity, water, and local government rents, also waiving and deferral of tax payment. However, we see that we have women-led ultra micro and micro enterprise, I think underrepresented and overlooked. So the advocacy for women-led ultra micro enterprise is also often sporadic and detached from continuous policymaking process. Next, please. So I think this is led to the final yet most important questions: what works to help women-led ultra micro and micro enterprise? We argue that government that utilize economic recovery to entrench gender equality in their ultra micro and micro enterprise policies and programs will see different gains in poverty evaluations, inequality reductions, and innovative growth. However, the focus should not be on how to accelerate growth, but rather to how to best to restore and recover. And there are two approaches that worth for the government and donors to consider further. This is promote empowerment and also providing more equal and just economic opportunities. So I think that's all from me. Thank you so much for your interest and attention.
Thank you for your thoughtful presentation, Leisha. So your points will be meaningful to complement our today takeaway later. So next, the fourth presenter is one of the prominent business and social entrepreneurs in Indonesia. Sit beside me, Ibu Diah Yusuf. Ibu Diah Yusuf is chairman of Womenpreneurs Indonesia Network, inaugurated by Ministry of Women Empowerment and Child Protection of WIN is a platform for strengthen women in entrepreneurship, health, and family harmonizing. Ibu Diah Yusuf is also leading several business in the health and beauty retail area, property industry, IT business corporation, and sustainable aquaculture farming. And she is also social entrepreneur. Budia, I'm delighted to give you floor.
Thank you, Mbak Poppy. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Ibu Dewanti Rumpoko, Mayor of Batu Malang, Chair W20 Ibu Uli Selalahi, Co-Chair W20 Ibu Dian Siswarini, and all distinguished guests and panelists. Good day all participants W20 all over the world, and greetings from Batu City, East Java. My name is Dia Yusuf, Chairwoman WIN, Womenpreneurs Indonesia Networks, and I'm also as an entrepreneur myself and business advisor for many enterprises, as Ibu Poppy already mentioned. So I would like to open my session by this data, because Indonesia, a member of a G20 since 2008, has become one of the largest economies worldwide with the promise of substantial growth in the coming decades. So in order to realize this potential, so Indonesia will be a major economy in the world. In order to realize this potential, the government of Indonesia has identified the role of the micro, small, and medium enterprises sector as the pivotal to promoting growth, creating jobs, and elevating poverty. But compared to business owned by men, women-owned SMEs face constraints that are imposed by women dual responsibility for the business on the other hand, and family and household in the other. So women also have a lack of ownership of property, minimal prior business experience, limitation in mobility, and huge dependence on husbands and family are some of the other factors that hamper their growth and development. So with 2/3 of Indonesia's female population today in the productive age group of 15 up to 64 years, there is huge potential for accelerating growth by removing barriers to their economic participation. For example, this is data from the World Bank, I think, If Indonesia could increase female economic participation by just 25% by 2025, it could generate an additional $62 billion economic activity and boost GDP by 2.9%. I'm still not talking about the presentation, this is just an introduction actually. So enabling women entrepreneurs, meaningful participant in gender-sensitive entrepreneurship has proven multiplier effect on decent employment, poverty eradication, and economic growth. So supporting women entrepreneurs is therefore vital for ensuring continued inclusive, resilient, and sustainable development especially in our country, Indonesia. So we go back to the presentation. Please start from the first slide. Okay, next. So actually, who is a womenpreneur? Siapa sebenarnya perempuan pengusaha itu? So womenpreneurs is the women or group of women who think a business enterprise initiated, organize, and combine factors of production, operate the enterprise and undertake risk, and handle economic uncertainty involved in running it. So this is the definition of womenpreneurs. So they should know that they should think and also take the risk, because entrepreneurship actually only three. Number one is opportunity seekers, number two is risk taking, number three is collaboration. Okay, so who is ultra micro and micro? Based on the SME ministry, ultra micro means annual sales up to 300 million per year. And then micro means annual sales up to 2 billion a year. So when we want to assist or help them, we should know this definition first. So not only talking about the ultra and micro, but we don't know actually who is ultra and who is micro. Then, next. So if we asking to the womenpreneurs, yeah, this actually choice or necessity, because I think mostly in Indonesia they have they take the entrepreneurship not by choice but by necessity, because mereka terpaksa, they should, because they cannot work because of the education, maybe they cannot work because of they have children, so they should, this is not a choice for them, so this is a necessity. So I take this from presidential directive number 1. So this is Pak Jokowi asking to Ministry of the Women Empowerment to increasing women's empowerment in the field of entrepreneurship with a gender perspective. Then in the Ministry of the Women Empowerment, they have 3 vulnerable women. Number 1 is female head of the family. She is a backbone of the economy, especially for the poor. The number 2 is the women who are disaster survivor, especially those who live in refugee. Yeah? And number 3 is a women survivor of violence, especially those who have experienced neglected. Then these vulnerable women should be assisted by stakeholder. So the role of the stakeholder down to the village level. Then after that, we can have a multiplier effect. So economic recovery will lift up all the aspects of life. In WIN, we don't want to scaling up the women because we want to transform them become reliable womenpreneurs Indonesia in whatever level they want to be. Because actually for women is happiness is number 1, yeah, than the business. So become reliable womenpreneurs for us is more important than scaling up for them. Okay, then next. Okay. Why womenpreneurs can resolve economic recovery? Because this is already data from the global. Economic recovery post-pandemic womenpreneurs, because they more resilient. So in the face of the extraordinary shock of the pandemic, womenpreneurs has been responding with great enterprise, agility, and optimism. Then womenpreneurs aggressively adapting to the crisis, tapping into new business opportunity, realigning existing business models, readjusting marketing, and modifying their products and services. So this is based on the data. So because women leadership style, yeah, we can have data from Harvard, if I'm not wrong, yeah, Mbak Poppy. They have a study leadership between men and women. And this is proof that women leadership, we can see, Ibu Dian, Ibu Uli, more stronger than men, actually. So applause for all of us here. This is based on the data, yeah, not me, not I'm talking like this, yeah. So womenpreneurs continue to play a greater role in creating new jobs and economic activity across the country, even given these opportunities and this tremendous growth. Women continue to face challenges and obstacles when starting and growing a business. So, next. So what actually womenpreneurs need to resolve economic recovery? Actually, they need, next slide, please. Yeah. They need a supportive community. They need also entrepreneurship education and training. They need empowered. They need a business mentors and also advisors. They need a connecting and networking. They need a collaboration. They need a role models. They also need a policy support from government, and of course they need financial support. So I put here as financial support as in the last, not in the beginning, yeah. Because if they don't have any supportive community, when they have money, they also cannot grow. So number 1 is about the supportive community. The next is, so how financial support for womenpreneurs as a part of economic recovery? Yeah. Next slide. Number one is not about the money itself. Number one is about the training of financial literacy in the simple way for womenpreneurs, so they can have a better understanding of their business, key resources, and how to manage business. So I put here, Mbak Poppy and Ibu Dewanti, it's not about the money at first, but the financial literacy, training of financial literacy. It's because also Indonesia is really poor about the financial literacy. Yeah. So financial services need to think, like Amarta before. So financial services like bank or fintech need to think differently and beyond traditional banking methods to leverage these womenpreneurs' potential growth. Financial services should provide training staff and finding better delivery channel to meet the needs of, because like I say, because they not only business, they also as a household, also as a mom. So they have a time poor women who typically have family and household responsibilities as well as running their business. So such as having women financial services agent networks in rural and village area. This model also can be alternative to employ women. So I think crowdfunding-based cooperative, micro angel investors, fintech for microfinance should be added more with better understanding to characteristic of womenpreneurs in ultra micro and micro enterprises. So I come to my last slide here. So we is a women entrepreneurs, women empowerment, women education, women emotion, women enthusiasm, women encouragement, women enlightenment, women excellence, women equality, women enablers. We are us. Together we will shine and we must win. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Budia, for signing our perspective this afternoon. And now we are flying to South Korea. Hello, Mrs. Kum Jo-hoo, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hi. Okay.
Hello.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the last but not the least presenter is Mrs. Kum Jo-hoo. She is an executive vice president at Kyobo Life Insurance, who is in charge of a new market strategy and operation for the company's digital transformation, organizational culture, and overseas business. At the same time, she is Korea representative for G20 Empower and Women 20. We are lucky to have Mrs. Kum Jo-hoo in this session. Mrs. Kum Jo-hoo, the floor is yours.
So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the participants from all over the world. As introduced, I am Kumju from South Korea. First off, I wish to extend my sincere congratulations and gratitude to the Batu City, Batu Mayor, and to the W20 Indonesian team for putting together this impactful event. Now, I would like to start my presentation. Can we go to the next slide, please? I would like to start by emphasizing, like all of the other panelists, that the COVID-19 pandemic is harming health, social, and economic well-being worldwide, with women at the center. This was a study that was announced by the OECD. Next page, please. And according to the McKinsey Global Institute, if women are to participate in the economy as much as men today, the global economy can grow by 26% by 2025. And in Asia, it can grow by 12% by 2025. So in the next page, I want to show you some statistics on the women entrepreneurs. And the reason for this is because I believe that the women entrepreneurs will be the future engine for the global growth. Just to take a macro view, women entrepreneur statistics show that 252 million entrepreneurs out of approximately 582 million in the world are female. Women now account for 41% of the global workforce and control more than 20 trillion in annual spending. And predictions show that this number will go up to $28 trillion in the next few years. Now, to take a look at the global statistics on women entrepreneurs, this is based on the Global Entrepreneurship Monitoring data. According to the latest data, if you compare male versus female entrepreneur statistics, there has been a rising trend in the female entrepreneurial rate over the last several years. And despite the significant progress of female entrepreneurs, men are still more likely to start business, and women have various other reasons for starting their businesses, which were explained by some of the panelists earlier. The latest statistics for women entrepreneurs report that 13% of 309 unicorns in 2021 have been female founders or co-founders, which I think is a very positive message. Also, due to the pandemic, women were 20% more likely than men to report a business closure due to the pandemic. And women business owners have struggled for many decades to access equity funding. Recently, 3 trends suggest pathways to increased investment in women-owned firms: the organization of women's business angel networks, impact investing, and women-focused investing. Now I want to talk about the potentials for the she economy. If you really look hard, we can discover that women account for 85% of all consumer purchases, including from auto to healthcare. In addition, women-led tech companies record a higher ROE of 35% compared to men. The average revenue growth of women-led companies is 57% versus 40% of men-led companies for companies that record a revenue of over 100 billion US dollars. If you look at some of the challenges that are faced by women entrepreneurs, and this is a study based on Forbes, but I've also seen the research outputs of other materials, but they all have similar findings. So I want to share with you this one. The challenges, the first, of course, is the limited funding. Then there's the balancing responsibilities, fear of failure, inadequate support system, gender inequality, limited knowledge, unfavorable business environment. If you look at the management trend these days, we see a lot of companies now focused on ESG management or the UN SDG goals. And we hear the word impact investing a lot, which is a terminology coined in 2007, referring to investments designed to create positive social or environment outcome. Today, the impact of funding estimates to be worth 715 billion, according to the Global Impact Investing Network. As that money flooded in, the sector evolved, and the wealthy individuals and philanthropists who once dominated the market have been joined by institutional investors. And you can see the chart on the right-hand side. So if you look by countries, for example, WeFi has made rapid progress since its launch at the 2017 G20 Leaders Summit in Hamburg. They provided funds, and they still do. Germany has a fund of 380 million in contributions from donor countries and allocated 300 million to programs that will benefit WMSMEs. And Canada's Women Entrepreneurship Strategy will have a potential to add 150 billion in incremental GDP by 2026. Now, a little emphasis on incubators and accelerators, because evaluation evidence shows that business incubators and accelerator program can help stimulate growth intentions. Business incubators and accelerators typically offer a suite of intensive supports like workshops, training, networking, opportunities, coaching, and business counseling, which I believe are some very important factors that women entrepreneurs need. And to look at the details, issues such as scaling, finance, HR, leadership, product development, marketing, technology, and work-life balance are some of the items that are provided amidst the business counseling. On the right-hand side, that is a photo of a demo day of my company where we support startups through our incubating and accelerating program. Next is, when I talked about the challenges faced by women, we find that they are not only faced with problems that has to do with the hardware, but it's also a lot to do with the software. So in terms of software, what we can provide is mentorship, I believe, because studies find that main reason women want to become entrepreneurs is for financial freedom. But in most of the countries surveyed, we found out that female entrepreneurs, it's like women who want to be entrepreneurs. So they're called entrepreneurs. They view entrepreneurship primarily as a good way to earn more money, even if that is not the reality. So in order to solve this problem, I believe that mentorship is viewed as an increasingly essential factor among women. So lastly, I want to wrap up by saying, this is my personal view, but going forward, I think number one, we should be able to have policies for governments, universities, nonprofit organizations to establish incubators and accelerators for women-owned and led MSMEs. And number two is to incentivize private equities, venture capitals, investment banks, asset management companies, and financial institutions to invest in women-owned and led or managed MSMEs. And three, I think it's also even more important to set KPIs to monitor and further improve the number one and number two. And fourthly, is to promote practices of UN SDG goals and ESG management by both the public and the private institution, with focus on building infrastructure of women's support system. And lastly, is to create mentorship and training platform for women to create and maintain a sustainable business. So that'll be all. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much for giving us a comprehensive global overview. So after having 6 prominent presenters, I would like to invite to dua penanggap, Ibu Amelia Georgiana from Kowani dan Ibu Susiana. Silakan Ibu. Ibu bisa kenalkan dari divisi atau departemen apa di Kowani?
Terima kasih Ibu atas kesempatannya. Saya di Kowani sebagai Ketua Bidang Ketenagakerjaan. Ya. Izinkan saya menyampaikan pendapat saya. Thank you for this opportunity. I would like to share my opinion. Women workers are among those affected deeply by the pandemic. Kowani has been able to assist micro, small, medium enterprises which are led by women and consist of mostly groups of women through independent workforce program, program Tenaga Kerja Mandiri, as the efforts made by Ministry of Manpower in encouraging and strengthening the role of women workers. The aim is to stimulate the creativity of the local community based on the region's potential resources. We encourage through training, monitoring, and evaluation, and the need to build a strong leadership mindset for future women workers and MSMEs owned by women that will develop perseverance and resilience in their work and business characters, especially in this disruptive era. Partnership with government and private institute and support from the environment will increase MSMEs the chance for gender equality, sustainability, and growth. Also, regulation for social security for vulnerable women who own MSMEs. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu, for your impressive response. And next, Ibu Susiana. From Kwani too. Ibu Susiana, please, yeah.
Thank you.
Introduce.
My name Susiana Avandi. I am Chief of Coordinator of Kowani. Thank you very much. In increasing economic inclusion, women entrepreneurs face a very basic problem, is the mindset problem. Most ultra-micro business actors don't know about sales management in the digital marketplace. They think that digital marketplace is like a cooperative that has a function to collect goods to be sold. They don't want to expand their business by digitizing, such as packaging and marketing advertising. When the training is held, only 8% are successful. Number two, low digital literacy problem. Women entrepreneurs in rural areas cannot use technology to support increased sales. They cannot take good and attractive product photo, digital and advertisement, ignorant about purchasing order, and don't have an Android-based cell phone. Number three, low financial literacy problem. Many women entrepreneurs don't understand digital financial product. As a result, they have problem with business capital. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ibu Susiana. Thank you, Ibu Amelia, Ibu Susiana. Ibu Susiana. So your point complement our view in this session. So, Ibu Bapak, ladies and gentlemen, from today, from our 6 prominent speakers, Reisha and Kum Johu give us a very comprehensive and thoughtful global overview. And in the meantime, Ibu Dewanti, Ibu Diah Yusuf, and Ibu Yoin Kadaria, Pak Arya Widianto give us story, knowledge, information, and experience from Indonesia, from Batu, and from other big cities in Indonesia. So from their presentation, we can get key takeaways. At least I have noted some 11 key takeaways. So the first is, it is again confirmed that women led and owned ultra micro and micro enterprise have been hit harder by the pandemic, by the crisis. But from this session, we get one important takeaway, that adaptive capacity of women entrepreneurs are high and significant to make them step up and moving up from the crisis. So applause for women planners in Indonesia. And secondly, the development of women-owned and led MSMEs should be supported by financial access that are affordable, safe for the business players, and business and banking women associations are very needed. Financial services designed for women is a must, which have mild financial services scheme with group lending scheme that provide personal financial services, no collateral, and community-based lending. This is experience from PIP. And training with special design for women that focus on health, education, financial, digital literacy, and entrepreneurship are very important. Financial services that include working capital loan, saving, digital payment, social commerce will improve women's access to better well-being. And the sixth takeaway is, one of significant capabilities that women should have is ability to save money and build and own assets. And 7, the focus to help women entrepreneurs is how best to restore and recover. So the 8, financial and digital literacy it's very important to have better understanding of their business, key resources, and how to accelerate business. And the ninth, an establishment of incubators and accelerators for women online-led companies is needed to solve problems on scaling, finance, human resource development, leadership, product development, marketing, technology, and work-life balance. The 10th takeaway, in order to enlarge financial resources for MSMEs, from crowdfunding based on cooperative, micro angel investor, fintech, private equities, venture capitals, investment banks, asset management companies, and financial institutions, the government should provide incentive schemes for them to invest in women-owned and managed MSME. And the last 4 key takeaways is KPI for monitoring and evaluation for any program that improving women entrepreneurship are very needed. So that's our key takeaway from today's session. Hopefully it will be meaningful for our meeting today. Thank you very much. The floor will be giving to MC.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please give big round of applause to all of the speakers and also our moderator today. Thank you. What a fruitful discussion panel. And before closing this session, please to all of speakers and also our moderator can take photo session. And to all of media partners, please have your change to documenting this event. And we'd like to invite Mrs. Dian and Mrs. Uli to come on stage on photo session in this special occasion. And once again, we'd like to thank you very much for your kind attention, your kind support to all of us. So this event had so really great and have meaningful impact to all of us, not just for Indonesia, but to all of countries, especially in G20 countries. Thank you. Please give a big round of applause to all of speakers. And once again, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget you can check our agenda, our event from day 1 till day 2 at Agropolitan Television. So you can check the YouTube channel, and of course you can check the event at Instagram account of W20 Indonesia, and of course Instagram account of SisterNet ID, Instagram account of SisterNet ID, and of course Instagram account of W20 Indonesia. And distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, in a special occasion, you can join us to this event till this night because we have so many and important agenda and there are so many speakers and we can get many insight. And of course, it will be meaningful to make empowerment women, not just for Indonesia, but also to other countries. And in this special occasion, we have 2 special speakers that will join us virtual because we have 1 special session that is virtual workshop session with 2 special speakers. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, 2 speakers will come and joining us virtually, and in this special occasion, this session will be moderated by special moderator too. She is so beautiful and will like to moderate our session. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mrs. Farah Diba Tenri Lemba. Please welcome. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Best wishes to all of us. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya. Greetings to all ladies and gentlemen, especially to women's own MSMEs who is attending here right now, because this is a very special workshop for not only all of us participants right here today, but also especially for the UMKM para pelaku UMKM MSMEs. Jadi belibet ya. Baik. I'm Faradiba Tanilemba from W20 Committee and also the member of KOANI, the National Council of Women Indonesia, who will lead this discussion for 1.5 hours. And we are still in the series of the sessions from the plenary event for raising the priority issues of economic inclusion. This is one of the four issue priorities, and this is number 2 priority. And we are live from Batu, East Java. Earlier, we are listened to panel discussion from experts regarding financial services for women MSMEs as part of economic recovery. And I hope you all get a new insight that are beneficial for you. Thank you so much, Ibu Dewanti Rumpoko and Ibu Uli Silalahi, Ibu Dian sebagai chair and co-chairs dari W20, dan juga terima kasih untuk semua yang memberikan apresiasi support sampai hari ini. We are now shifting to a session with the aim of increasing knowledge and skills, a workshop session that we, the W20 delegates and committee, made together with SisterNet and also Femina Entrepreneurial Woman Program, or what we call Wanita Wirausaha Femina. So this afternoon, we have 2 strong women, we have 2 powerful women to give their presentation. The first one is Mrs. Yasmin Wiryawan. She will give to us, present to us about digital financial literacy for MSMEs. And the other one is Mrs. Patty S. Fatima about leadership for women entrepreneurs. So without further ado, I will invite Ibu Yasmin Wiryawan.
Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening, Excellencies, distinguished W20 delegates, invitees, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor for me to be part of the second W20 plenary session today. Next, please. Micro, small, and medium enterprises, or MSME, are important in most economies, particularly in developing countries. They are essential sources to job creation and economic development, and they account for approximately 90% of businesses and more than 50% of global employment. In 2022, there are still key business challenges that the MSMEs will face that will include managing the supply chain disruptions and rising operational costs. For example, they will face price increases, raw materials shortages, increased shipping costs, order fulfillment delays. Those are some of the challenges. In addition, social and cultural barriers will continue to be an issue, and that will prevent women from participating in entrepreneurial activities. Another important development is the shifting consumer behavior that require them to readjust their business model and marketing strategy, such as increasing online orders and a higher demand on environmental friendly and sustainable products. In addition, evolving technology and managing cash flow and also the financing needs are some of the top operational challenges affecting today's small businesses. Regardless the obstacles, women entrepreneurs have a strong desire to maintain and grow their existing businesses. MSMEs have received assistance from the government in form of incentives and grants, as well as support from the local communities. And this support will continue to be critical for their progress in the short to medium term. Next, please. I'd like to show you a snapshot of selected digital indicators around the world. The global population is estimated to reach around 7.9 billion this year. And women account for around half of the total, and over half of the world's population currently lives in cities. Data Portal estimates that there are more than 5 billion mobile phone users globally, and this represents 2/3 of the total world population. The increase is about 2%, or 95 million new mobile users addition from last year. And global internet users have also reached almost 5 billion with internet penetration of about 60%. And the number of internet users increased by 4%, or a net addition of about 192 million from the previous year. Another critical indicator from this slide is social media. This year, the global social media users reach around 4.6 billion, and that is about a 58% penetration rate. And these social media users may not be counted as unique individuals because one person may have multiple active accounts on the same social media platform. However, the global social media users grew by 10% year on year, with 424 million new users joining in 2021. Because of the pandemic's mobility constraints, all of these actual numbers and growth trends may be different and could be higher than these figures indicated in the slides. However, one important takeaway from this statistic is that more than 2 billion of adult population worldwide are still not using the internet. Therefore, universal accessibility will continue to be a crucial step in enhancing digitalization worldwide. Next slide, please. Women's access to mobile internet has improved globally. However, gender disparities persist in low and middle income countries. According to the GSMA, approximately 83% of women own a mobile phone and 58% use mobile internet. In most countries surveyed, women are also more likely than men to access the internet solely through a mobile device. And this development emphasizes increasing the need to increase mobile access for women to close the mobile gender gap. And the gender gap in mobile internet usage has gradually narrowed over time. And the decrease has been driven primarily by the development in South Asia, which decreased significantly from 50% in 2019 to 36% in 2020. And while the overall gender gap in mobile ownership has remained essentially unchanged since 2017, the gender gap in smartphone ownership has narrowed, driven by the South Asian market, where these gaps have consistently been the widest. And addressing digital disparities is critical, particularly in the low and middle income countries. There are still 234 million fewer women than men who use mobile internet in low and middle income countries. And the main issues include the lack of literacy and digital skills, and also affordability, particularly the cost of an internet-enabled handset. Another issue is that the affordability of handsets to mobile ownership. Policymakers and all relevant stakeholders need to address these vital points, especially when they expand their digital access in the suburban or remote areas. Next, please. Access to finance continues to be a single roadblock, a significant roadblock to the business growth for the MSMEs, and creating opportunities for them, especially in the emerging market, is critical in order to improve economic development and also poverty reduction. As a result, bridging the finance gap is essential to promote the growth for the MSME sector. The World Bank reported that about 40% of formal business owners in developing countries have unmet financing needs. That's about 5 trillion annually, which account for 1.4 times the current global MSME lending. And women made up a third of the funding shortfall, while around half of the formal MSMEs lack of formal credit. If we take into account the informal businesses, the gap would be widened. Most of the MSMEs, they actually fund their businesses with internal funds or informal sources like family or friends. The government has committed to improving the financial access to support small businesses by issuing a series of regulations to promote digital transformation in the banking and financial institution industry. We have seen an inflow of digital solutions and digital financial services offered globally. And given the circumstances, there is an urgency for small business owners to improve their digital financial literacy competence, because the digital technology and financial products are increasingly more accessible. And the low digital literacy in some countries is actually concerning, and this will hinder the business owners' productivity growth and efforts towards financial inclusion. These issues have been addressed by the G20 presidency every year. However, concrete actions and results on digital financial literacy progress are needed as crucial steps to strengthen the foundation and MSMEs' road to recovery after the pandemic. Next, please. Digital financial literacy is a new technical concept with no industry-wide definitions. Researchers use them the term generally to be associated with financial and digital literacy. Although literacy in itself refers to a person's ability to read and write, the UNESCO has expanded the definitions to include literacy as a functional form. It is the skills in reading, writing, and computing abilities to help people attain their goals and grow intellectually and socially. This extended definition covers computer and financial literacy, and each aspect looks at how well a person can understand and use information. The digital literacy, as most researchers agree, is navigating and adapting to an evolving digital world. And it includes skills related to computer literacy, information technology literacy, or media literacy. On the other hand, financial literacy refers to the skills and knowledge that help people make smart and effective financial decisions. So it has a two conceptual dimension. First is the personal understanding, and the second one is the personal financial applications. Therefore, the term financial literacy also includes the ability to read, evaluate, manage, and communicate about one's financial situations. The researchers develop a framework that shows relationship between financial literacy and digital literacy. And these concepts share specific characteristics indicating distinct competency areas. And this approach is essential because it recognizes that financial literacy and digital literacy are no longer adequate to promote digital financial services adoption in the current digital area. So therefore, the digital financial services encourage greater access to digital financial products and services. As a result, the definition of digital financial literacy includes a combination of financial literacy and digital financial literacy components. It also contains unique nature and risk critical aspects of the digital financial services. Next, please. Next slides, please.
Next slide. The slide is not moving. Yeah, we're still in the digital financial literacy. Can we next it? Ibu Yasmin, right. We are trying to continue your presentations. If you would like to just keep share.
Yeah. So basically, the digital financial literacy is the basic foundation for people to use digitally delivered financial products and services to make informed financial decisions. So I would like to mention about there are 4 critical skills for digital financial literacy.
Yeah, there. We already have in the,
Good. Thank you.
Okay.
So the 4 critical skills that have been identified is the basic knowledge and capability, the basic knowledge of risk and mitigations, consumer rights and remedy mechanisms, and also the growth mindset attitudes. Next slide, please. The previous slides, yes, right. The first dimension that defines digital financial literacy is the basic knowledge and capability to use digital financial products and services. Consumers need to be familiar with non-traditional financial products accessible via the internet and mobile phones. The use of internet banking, financial trading, peer-to-peer lending, and internet-based insurance are few examples of these services. And given the inflow of options available, individuals, they need to be aware the advantage and disadvantage of each services. Then next slides, please. The second dimension of digital financial literacy is the risk awareness and mitigation. And individuals and businesses, they should be aware of the potential risk with using these services, which are frequently more difficult to detect than traditional financial goods and services. This risk include online fraud, and other risks associated with their online activities, which relates to information they provide to service providers. And consumers using digital financial services may borrow excessively because of the credits provided by digital banks or financial technology companies. Without supervision, they could incur bad debts or losses, especially when these services providers are less highly regulated. Another important point is the cyber security risk and privacy data awareness. This refers to the understanding of how small business owners protect themselves against cyber and data privacy threats. So they should know how to avoid spam, phishing, and other online threats. And they should also be aware on how to protect their personal identification when using digital banking services. And the risks are much higher because of the sharp increase of digitalization with work from home policies following the pandemic issues. Next slides, please. This third dimension of DFL, or digital financial literacy, is the knowledge of consumer rights and remedy mechanism. When signing up for services online, women entrepreneurs, or in fact all small business owners, they should read and understand the terms and conditions. If they are victim of fraud or other losses, they must also understand the rights as well as where and how to seek restitutions. They should also be aware of the rights in relations to their personal data and understand the procedures if it is misused. Next slides, please. A growth mindset attitude is very critical, actually, for a person to be successful in the business, in the entrepreneurship domain. The person has to be committed and motivated to perform competently. And therefore, they are part of the digital financial literacy requirement. To keep up with the increasing complexity, the users must possess certain attitudes to maintain constant change, and also the development of their abilities and skills for using so many products and services, and they have to be continuously learning, curious, and embrace the challenges and feedbacks. They also have to develop collaborative network and innovations in order to progress to the next step. Next, please. So this is my slide, last slide, and all in all, the digital financial literacy should enhance gender equality and also game change small business owners, financial inclusion, and also entrepreneurial aspirations. The women-owned business owners, some of them, they have survived or even grown to be better because of the pandemic. And this is because of their ability to innovate and adapt. And access to formal credit for women remains a challenge, and they need to be addressed, as we have already mentioned in the previously. So we also see that technology has proved to assist the business owners to survive crisis, but there are still many of them that have not truly embraced technology. And given these circumstances, the digital financial literacy should improve them to increase their ability to improve their financial inclusion and also the entrepreneurial abilities. And for digital financial
Okay, there is a little bit technical difficulties. Ibu Yasmin, can you hear my voice? But unfortunately, we cannot hear yours. All right. Yeah. Suddenly.
can you hear me?
Okay. Okay. Now we can perfectly hear. There.
Which one is that? Sorry, at which part is that? Or should I just
yeah, you
the
can
last
continue
one?
this part. Yeah, you can continue this part.
Right. So for the digital financial literacy penetration to improve, it is recommended that there should be a standardized programs that are suited for each stage of the MSME's maturity. And government and relevant stakeholders should identify and prioritize the underserved micro enterprises. And these strategies can be implemented along with the enhancement of internet access, particularly in remote areas. The government and communities should also acknowledge the importance of empowering the women's entrepreneurs with digital technology and financial skills. There should also be effective monitoring and evaluation tools, especially to optimize the credit information and also the soft loans that are widely distributed and targeted. And finally, the government should also foster collaborations among the government ministries and also all the relevant stakeholders to support the MSME sector by improving access, digital financial literacy, their capacity, and also the connectivity. That will be the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ibu Yasmin. And we can give a round of applause for Ibu Yasmin. And she was talking about how financial inclusion is the key to women's economic empowerment and financial independence. And financial literacy, having the skills, knowledge, and behaviors to make informed financial decisions for personal and household finance. So it's really, really important that we know about this financial literacy. Hopefully you guys have embraced all what Ibu Yasmin have told. And this is very interesting. I will call Ibu Yesi, or should we call Mbak Yesi? She will share about her experience, and she's here, right? Yes. Come and join with me here, Ibu Yesi. Okay.
Hello.
Hello, Mbak Yesi.
Hello.
So, should we speak in English or Bahasa?
I'm fine with both.
Fine with both.
Yeah.
All right. All right, Ibu. So, can you share your experience on what is actually you do with the MSMEs and how your journey up to today? Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Diba. So, my name is Yesi Natasha, but you can call me Eci. Eci. It's shorter. My Instagram account is Eci Natasha. So I run 3 brands, local brands. So the first one is Fashionistas, it's in fashion. And the second one is Yori Eatery. And the third one is Fast. So what is the question, experience?
What is it?
The question, experience?
So you can tell us during this pandemic, how do you work with all this MSMEs, your program, your businesses, and how do you deal with all the challenges from the pandemic? Can you tell us? Yeah.
So honestly, I'm so nervous to be here, Madiba. So in pandemic era, fashionistas has been hit so hard. So the first one, the level of confidence. So I think that, is it really the good time to sell clothes? Fashionistas is in fashion. So in the pandemic era, people doesn't really need clothes or outfits. They need the urgent items, such as, the health items like mask, sanitizer, and disinfectant. And then when I think that, is it really okay to promote all the, fashion marketings? So the first problem is in internal, like that.
Right. And how do you think this digital literacy help you, building your businesses and enhance your business and also people who help you?
Okay, so before I know about digital literacy, fashionistas is all conventional. Like we always do the bookkeeping, the stock keeping, the transaction, all in manually, Badiba. Like, nota. Yeah, so we write in the transaction note. So when I try to find a lot of digital literacy, we switch to conventional to the digital. Yeah, so we getting digitalized.
Right.
Like that.
And so you have to have the application, or you have to enter the website, or how do you do it?
Okay, the easy example. So in Indonesia is Nota. We switch that to using point of sales, POS. And so we have also offline store and online. So we switch the transaction to the POS, point of sales. That's the first one. And then the most interesting is when we do the bookkeeping in manual way or stock keeping, we now change it, Badiba, to the website.
Right.
Yeah.
And that helps you to scale up your business.
Yeah, so by going digital, so Fashionistas is now growing better.
Yeah.
Because, when we switch the conventional way to digital, we it's not really the time wasting, and we can check it every time and everywhere. Like for now, I'm attending W20. I can check the transaction
Easily,
I can,
You
easily
just check it in your handphone.
Right, yeah.
Okay. And do you face any challenges in having this digital in doing your business, and how would you accommodate your challenges?
Yeah, I have to train my team. So I register them to the webinars, to the trainings, and and every workshops, so they can learn how to operate the point of sales, how to operate the website for us using the bookkeeping and the stock keeping, like that.
Right. How many is your team member?
I divided my team into 3 sectors, Badiba. The first one is in confeksi production. Yeah, the production house. So we produce our own outfits, the local brand. So confeksi, the first one.
Right.
Number 1 is office team.
Right.
And the last one is the store team. The store, shopkeeper
store.
team. Yeah.
To sell your product,
Yeah.
right? Okay, but let's just go back a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your product, your business. What
Okay.
is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Confeksi means fashion, right?
Right, fashion. So Fashionistas is a local brand. So we produce outfits such as tops, bottoms, outers, and then we also provide hijab and accessories. But the differences from Fashionistas with other local brands is Fashionistas use the less waste cutting production system. So we really calculate how to cut the fabrics so we don't waste so many fabric. So we don't have so many leftovers.
So many fabrics and so many time also,
Yes,
yeah?
yeah. So we fashionistas, you can find in online or offline in Surabaya based. In Surabaya, we have 2 offline stores, and in online, you can find it in Instagram and also website, Badiba.
I see. And you are the first winner of the competition on Modal Pintar Sisternet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Echi got some kind of like money as the token of appreciations and token of for growing up, scaling up your business, right?
Yeah.
And how do you manage that?
Okay, so before I answer that, I would like to say thank you to SisterNet and Excel Axiata TBK team and all the whole family. So SisterNet really helps not only my business, but the MSMEs and yeah, all the women-owned MSMEs like that. So I got 35 million, Mbak
Yeah.
for the prize last year. So in the incubation,
Yeah.
we have 4 classes,
Right.
and they taught us how to manage the price. So I use the price to, I have new website, Mbak Diba. So fashionistas have new websites and
Yeah.
new store by SisterNet.
I see. So when you get the money, the prize, you also get the opportunity to know how to manage it. So they kind of give you like trainings how to manage that money,
Yeah.
and then which post you will use for production, for website, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
So as Ibu Dia Yusuf said that the money should be in the last point, because the first one should be the community, and the second one should be the knowledge or how we can use the money wisely, like that.
Ah, this is really interesting. So that's why the program called Modal Pintar Sisternet.
Yeah, modal pintar. So we cannot use that for, traveling or buying stuff.
Right.
It has to be for the business.
They watch you closely.
Yeah, right.
What do you do with that money?
True.
All right. So do you have any, because this is exciting, and from this price you can scaling up more, and what is actually your next plan then? And later I will ask you also what actually the message that you want to give to other young entrepreneur, especially women entrepreneur.
Okay. So as the women-owned MSMEs or the womenpreneurs, we have to not only, pay attention to the details of the business itself, but we have to, we have to join a lot of classes, we have to join a lot of webinars, and we have to enrich our knowledge with the digital literacy, financial literacy, and also we have to join the community so they can help us grow better. The tips for the womenpreneur, you have to pick wisely the community that you want to join. The community should help you grow better. And the second one, you have to enrich your knowledge about business and about the self-development. And the third one, maybe you can join the business competition to evaluate your business.
It really brings new energy to do business, because especially this pandemic session.
Yeah, because
this pandemic, back and forth, up and down, yeah?
Because sometimes as the business owner or the womenpreneur, we tend to think that, oh, my business is okay, my business is going well, I have a lot of sales, my team is growing well.
Right.
But if you join the incubations or mentorship, they can evaluate you. So your
Right.
business can, be fixed.
Yeah, and do you really really want to ask all of your peers to actually join this competition and or build from scratch how to build some kind of like a new business or how?
Yeah, starting a new business, they say that it's easy, but maintaining it to keep it survive, it's another way, another thing. So maybe I have a message. The Sispreneur by XL Axiata, they have the new program, Badiba. They have the Sispreneur competition, so the MSMEs can join the competition and try to not only get the prize, but get the incubation itself.
And build it.
Yeah, and build the business.
Like you said, the maintaining it is not
Yeah,
that.
right.
It's another challenge.
Another challenge.
All right. Thank you so much, Ibu Eci,
Thank
for the
you.
sharing. This is really good messages, and we hope that a lot of women, young women out there, could first join the competition, and the other one could also enhance your business, enhance the knowledge and skill from this. And so let's give a round of applause to Ibu Eci and also the Sispreneur XL Axiata program. Woo. Luar biasa ya, senang kalau misalnya ada program-program membuka kesempatan bagi para khususnya perempuan dan perempuan muda sehingga tidak hanya berdaya tetapi menghasilkan. Baik, let's move on to our second speaker. I would like to invite Mrs. Patty Fatima, who will present about the Leadership for Women Entrepreneur session. Ms. Patty is a Femina's Chief Community Officer and Editorial Director of Prana Group. She has been leading the most respectable woman media, both print and online, in Indonesia since 2003. As the Femina magazine obtained many awards in design and journalism. Ibu Patty with Femina is running many women community development, including Wanita Wirausaha Femina. Ibu Patty, the screen is yours.
Hello, thank you Badiba for introduction. Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Bapak Ibu yang terhormat, tim W20, Mbak Uli, Mbak Dian, dan semuanya, and also Ibu Wali Kota Batu, Ibu Dewanti, and my fellow speakers, Mbak Yasmin. It's been a long time, Mbak Yasmin. So it's glad to meet you here. Thank you for W20 to invite Femina Wanita Wirausaha. This is the community development for women SME or SME owned by women from Femina Media. And up until now, we have around 40,000 active members around Indonesia, and also 400 small medium enterprise champions. So we will give big applause to all of women entrepreneurs in Indonesia. Before I share, yes, we will give applause to all of us.
Big applause, woohoo!
Yeah. So before I share about the topic that given to me today, I will share one video profile of women SME in Yogyakarta. She is one of the members of Wanita Wirausaha Femina, Eni Anjayani, owner of Wastraloka. This is very interesting. Her product, it's upcycle and a unique homewares and home decor. She is very inspiring and has an excellent leadership that we can learn. Okay, maybe we can see the video now about Eni Anjayani. Thank you, Mbak Diba.
Okay, let's roll out the video.
Yes.
Halo, perkenalkan nama saya Eni Anjayani, saya adalah founder Wastraloka. Saya memulai usaha Wastraloka ini sebenarnya tanpa sengaja karena kecintaan saya terhadap motif-motif batik di Indonesia. Kemudian saya timbul ide untuk mengaplikasikan motif batik tersebut pada media-media dekorasi yang bisa dinikmati sebagai dekorasi rumah. Proses kreasi Wastraloka itu dimulai dari desain. Kami mengambil motif, mengadopsi motif wastra-wastra di Indonesia, ada batik, juga tenun. Dari motif-motif tersebut, kemudian kami ambil presisinya, kemudian kami tetap memegang pakem-pakem batik, dan agar pakem-pakem itu tidak hilang, dan dari generasi ke generasi tetap mengenal pakem-pakem dan filosofi batik. Jadi sebagian besar bahan yang digunakan untuk produksi Wastraloka itu berasal dari sisa pabrik kulkas. Jadi mulai dari lembaran-lembaran sisa pabrik kulkas itu kemudian kami bentuk menjadi desain-desain tertentu seperti kaleng kerupuk, teko, juga ada pot seperti itu. Setelah dibentuk, dilakukan pendasaran. Dan untuk pelukisan kami melibatkan, kalau kami menyebutnya artisan lokal, karena kami melibatkan anak-anak muda yang berbakat menggambar, kemudian kami arahkan untuk menguasai bagaimana gambar batik itu dengan pakem-pakem yang harus dipegang. Motif batik yang sudah dikembangkan oleh Wastraloka hitungannya sudah puluhan ya, mungkin bahkan sudah ratusan. Jadi dahulu kami memulai mengadopsi batik-batik lawasan, kemudian kami mulai mengembangkan ke batik kontemporer dan mix and match-kan dengan tren saat ini. Selain itu kami juga mengambil motif dari wastra Nusantara lainnya seperti ulos dari Sumatera Utara, kemudian celugam dari Lampung, dan motif-motif tenun di Indonesia. Selain itu, produk kami juga diterima di mancanegara, terutama negara-negara yang serumpun dengan Indonesia seperti di Singapura, Malaysia, dan juga di negara Belanda dan Australia. Penerimaan pasar mancanegara tidak luput dari dukungan stakeholder di Indonesia, misalnya dari kementerian yang memberikan fasilitas kami untuk pameran, dan juga dari Femina yang mendampingi kami untuk scale up, untuk menaikkan usahanya di skala internasional.
Thank you very much. There's Eni Anjayani from Yogyakarta. She is one of the winners from our program Scale Up in 2021. Thank you to all of us watching of the video. So maybe we can start the presentation. Yeah. Okay. My topic today is resilience leadership. Pemimpin tangguh, bisnis tumbuh. Our business will grow if we have excellent leadership to run our business. So that's my topic today. Next slide, please. We have a fact finding from our SME community about four main problems women SME in Indonesia. The first one is lack of a business know-how. The second is lack of support. Number 3 is lack of business network. And number 4 is access to funding. Number one, number one, lack of business know-how. I think it's a leadership matters. We can't run the business effectively if we don't have enough knowledge to do so. So this is the biggest problem on leadership on business SME in Indonesia. Next slide. So as we know, if we discuss about leadership, so leaders should have an ability to these four major acts. Number one, it's empower people. The second is lead change. The third is inspire people. And the fourth is share vision. I think this isn't easy. And we know that most of women SME in Indonesia, starting from small, very micro, and starting from home. They don't have any business know-how whatsoever. They just want to run the business because they love to make.
Okay, the voice. Wait, Ibu Patty, because we cannot hear your voice.
Okay, now you can see,
All right,
you can hear?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
you can continue.
Okay, so if we go deeper on this lack of leadership, so we can find main leadership challenges. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. We found these challenges from our members. So most of women SME having difficulties to organize team and workflow because maybe they don't have any SOP on the company. And also they have difficulties to make business decisions. And the fourth is they're also overwhelmed about the change of our business these days. We know that pandemic, it's a disruption. So it affects a lot to women SME. So we have 4 challenges. To tackle these issues, Femina Wanita Wirausaha over this ecosystem to our members. So we have 4 main focus. The first one is boosting confidence. This stage, it's great for SME in the beginning of the business. So the first one is boosting confidence. On this boosting confidence, we offer them to enhance the knowledge and business skill, include digital skills, and also community support. The second is enabling the growth. Our program is mentorship, business trip or excursions, and also access to funding. The third, this is very important also because entrepreneurial in Indonesia, it's quite young. So we have to spreading the culture about this work or this job or this profession. So we have to promoting and visibility of the women SME and spreading the success story so everyone can learn each other, like Annie Anjayani on the previous video. And also we run the research and studies about the growth of women SME in Indonesia. So we have enough facts and data to help them. And the third, the fourth, the most important is community engagement. Number 4 is increasing competitiveness. Annie Anjayani, it's a winner of Scale Up program. So Annie Anjayani is in this quadrant. In this increasing competitiveness, we have curation system and also product showing or product showcasing. We have award and competition, mentorship, and commerce. Next slide. So on this those ecosystem, we divide women SME in 3 stages. So this is our members. The first one is aspiring entrepreneurs. They are entry level, mostly micro and small entrepreneur. The second one is growing entrepreneur, mostly small and medium. And the third is established entrepreneur, mostly a scaled up and medium enterprise. So each group can join a different program from Wanita Wirausaha Femina, such as a training, talk, WhatsApp group, mentorship, and etc. And we want to make sure we have provide their needs to enhance their leadership skill on business. Next slide, please. So this slide is showing the resilience women SME in Indonesia during the pandemic from Wanita Wira Usaha Femina. During the pandemic in early 2020, we moved all program to online. And then this is very interesting from our finding. There only needs 2 or 3 months to adapt this new community channels. So we don't have any difficulties on it. And around 20,000 and more join our program for 2 years. Yeah, and we run around 70 times online class, from digital marketing to financial literacy and also product development. And we're able to make a special program for scale up entrepreneur to teach them about export. This is very interesting. During the pandemic, Department Perdagangan or Commerce Department, our governments have a special intention to small medium business enterprise to teach them to be export ready, because digital it's enabler to them to send or to market their product all around the world more than before. Next slide. So what we suggest to increase our leadership skill on business for SME. Number 1 is identify. We have to identify our weaknesses on leadership. This is number 1 and very important. And second, it's upskilling. We can join many training classes all around Indonesia to tackle our problem on the first one, the identify our weaknesses. And the most important is join the business community to what? To share and to learn. Because we can't work alone to make our leadership more greatest than before. And the last but not least, don't hesitate to learn from others. I think this is very important to all of us women. Women should learn from other women. We don't compete, but we collaborate. Next slide, please. So please join our Wanita Wira Usaha Femina if you want to enhance your leadership on business and to grow your business. This is our channel on Instagram and also on Facebook. And we have also dedicated a website. And this is very important. Women loves to talk each other. So we have many groups or WhatsApp group contains or with the members of Women SME. So this is the link to join the group, and you can see on the chat, and you just click and you can join with one of the WhatsApp group of Wanita Wira Usaha Femina. So as closing of my presentation, I invite you, this is our partner so far, maybe next time Sister Nat will join with us also, Ibu Dian and Ibu Yasmin, and also friends of Batu. Please join us because we work also together with government and with a women organization around Indonesia. So as closing of my presentation, I want to invite you to do a polling as an online. So maybe can you help? So we can check how far we know about our leadership on business and how to find the right training or other learning formats. So number 1, what is leadership? This is a single choices. So you just say what's your answer.
Okay, so this is a little bit pulling ya, Ibu Patty ya.
Yes,
Nah,
it's a
kita
polling.
melakukan polling sedikit ibu-ibu, so you
Yes.
can just write on your paper in front of you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ibu Patty.
Yeah,
Continue.
for whom to join online, you just click on the below. Yes. Number second, what's your first step if you have a problem on your business or your organization? All right. And the third, from all leadership skill, what skill you want to mastering? Number 3. Question number 3.
Question number 3 is what skill you want to you need
to mastering. Yeah. Very interesting, Mbak Diba. All right. So I want to see the end poll, the result.
Yeah.
All right. So number 1 is all true. Yes, you are right. 77% answer semua benar. Yeah.
Semuanya benar.
So the second one is which one?
If you have any problems or challenges in your business.
Yeah. Yes. So number 2 is.
Bisa ke bawah lagi sedikit, going
Oh,
a
okay.
little bit.
So the most answer is identify the problem. Yes, you're right. The third question.
Yeah. Going down the slide.
Okay, this is number 3, right? Okay.
There, yeah.
Listen and communicate with team and consumer. Thank you very much. So the same answer with our member of Wanita Wirausaha Femina. Thank you very much, Mbak Diba.
Thank you so much, Ibu Patty. Let's give a round of applause for Ibu Patty. Such a comprehensive session. She shared about leadership and how leadership is the key, not only to begin a business, but also if you want to scale it up.
Yeah.
And we have a great program. The first one is Sispreneur, and the second one Wanita Wirausaha Femina, and everybody can join ya, Mbak Patty ya.
Yes.
And how to actually join the community with the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, you can join with the WhatsApp group, and also you can join all the programs. Our program it's all digital. It's a webinar and also live streaming. So you just visit our social media as Wanwir Femina on Instagram, for example, or Facebook Wanita Wirausaha Femina. All the program or all the information of the program, it's there, and also maybe 1,000 videos from our training. So please join.
All right. So thank you so much once again, Ibu Patty. And we have to really end this session because due to limitation of time, ladies and gentlemen. But it is once again our pleasure to have Ibu Yasmin and Ibu Patty. And congratulations to all women's own MSMEs, all the programs, Sispreneur, Excel Axiata, and also Wanita Wirausaha Femina. Once again, let's give a round of applause to all speakers this afternoon. Thank you so much. This is the end of our session, and we hope you gain a lot of new insight and new information and new energy to scaling up your business. My name is Faradiba. I'm giving back the session to the MC. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give big round of applause to our speakers and also moderator. Thank you very much. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to underline some of the important keys from today's event, we would like to invite Mrs. Sita Ari Purnawi as W20 Delegate of Indonesia. Mohon izin Ibu Sita untuk audionya bolehkah dinyalakan? Please
Ya,
turn
tadi
on
belum
your
di
audio. Oh
belum
ya, thank you
ya
very much.
dari pusat
Sudah.
tadi belum di. Oke, ya.
Terima kasih, sudah terdengar dengan sangat jelas Ibu, kami persilakan.
Oke. Oke, thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, distinguished participants, W20 delegates from 20 countries, invitees, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to take this moment to summarize points that raised not only today, but during yesterday's sessions and also the sessions previously. To begin with, I like to take from the yesterday's session that we learn from the international prominent speaker at yesterday's sessions led by Ibu Faradiba and Ibu Virginia. The key takeaways we get, there are 7. The first one is women-led and owned ultra micro and micro enterprise have been hit harder by the pandemic. Second, women face greater exclusion and constraint to accessing and using financial products and services. 3, access to financial resources does not guarantee that women have control. 4, design features can help women get control over financial resources, increase business profits and earnings. 5, protecting women's knowledge as business owner or producers and building business association for women entrepreneurs will improve their business sustainability. 6, we have to work together to improve financial inclusion and financial literacy for women-led MSMEs. And last, give women the right to own assets and resources. Following the yesterday sessions, today we have 2 incredible sessions. The first plenary sessions, speakers, there are 6, Ibu Dewanti, Ibu Ririn, Ibu Diah, Ibu Resha, Ibu Pak Arya Widianto, and Ibu Kum Jo-ho from South Korea. Moderated by our distinguished Ms. Poppy Ismailina from UN Women. She take 11 recommendations, and first, it is again confirmed that women-led and owned ultra micro and micro enterprise have been hit harder by the pandemic. From this session, we get one important takeaway is that adaptive capacity of women entrepreneurs are high and significant. Second, the development of women-owned MSMEs should be supported by formal financial access that are affordable and safe for the business players and business and banking women association. Third, that financial services designed for women is a must, which have MAT financial services scheme with group lending scheme that provide personal financial services, no collateral, and community-based lending. 4, training with special design for women that focus on health education, financial, digital literacy, and entrepreneurship. 5, financial services that include working capital loan, savings, digital payment, social commerce, improve women's access to better well-being. 6, one of significant capabilities that women should have is ability to save money and build assets. 7, the focus to help is how best to restore and recover. 8, financial and digital literacy is very important to have better understanding of their business, key resources, and how to accelerate business. 9, an establishment of incubators and accelerators for women-owned and led companies is needed to solve problems on scaling, finance, human resource development, leadership, product development, marketing, technology, and work-life balance. 10, in order to enlarge financial resource for MSMEs from crowdfunding based on cooperative, micro angel investors, fintech, private equities, venture capitals, investment banks, asset management companies, and financial institutions, the government should provide incentive scheme for them to invest in women-owned and managed MSMEs. Last, from the first session today, key performance indicators or KPI for monitoring and evaluation for all programs of improving financial access to women MSMEs must be set up and have clear and valid measures. Following this first session, the second session, the last session for today, we have Ibu Yasmin Wiryawan and Ibu Peti Fatimah as speakers, and two incredible, excellent success story, Ibu Jessie Natasha and Ibu Yesi and Ibu Eni Anjayani. Those two are the success story on how women can be successful in leading or own MSMEs. So the takeaways from Ibu Yasmin. There are two chunks of important takeaways. First, digitalization is a key to spur economic growth, including the growth of the business of women-owned and led MSMEs that could support women to scale up their business and access to finance. However, some issues persist, such as gender gaps in mobile internet use, 15%, and in mobile ownership, 7%. Digital literacy and financial literacy are the two are also the important aspect that should be highlighted here. The second one, the second point is the digital financial literacy is a promising instrument for business resilience and growth of women-owned and led MSMEs, including on financial inclusion, on making informed financial decisions, mitigating the risk of business decisions, and measuring, monitoring the program implementation. Lastly, the takeaways from Ibu Peti's sessions. First, there are still challenges in leadership for women, including issues on team management, workflow, decision-making, and business dynamics. Second, in addressing the leadership issues, it leads to A, increasing competitiveness, such as capacity building, product curation, and showing case award, and competition and mentorship. B, boosting confidence, for example, increased knowledge and business skill, digital skill, and community support. C, spreading the culture, for instance, sharing best practices, success stories, research and studies. And D, enabling the growth such as mentorship and access to funding. So distinguished guests and all participants, ladies and gentlemen, I hope today all of us has learned and inspired by the speakers from the 2 days sessions, and also 2 success stories of women-owned led MSMEs. All of these recommendation takeaways will be needed and to be contributed to further develop the W20 communique. Thank you again with all of your participants, and good evening, everyone. And I return back to the beautiful MCs. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the beautiful. Thank you very much for the beautiful Mrs. Sita Ari Purnami. Boleh tepuk tangan untuk beliau? Luar biasa. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, there are so many important agenda, and we hope we can get the powerful impact to all of us, especially for W20 countries, to me, to you, and all of the people over there. And this is, guys, ladies and gentlemen, just for your information that the committee provide early dinner at Branches Resto, so you can enjoy the early dinner from 6 p.m. and enjoy the early dinner. And now, this guys, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much for your kind attention and great participation for this special event. Boleh tepuk tangan yang luar biasa. Semoga ini benar-benar bisa memberikan perubahan nyata untuk upaya pemberdayaan perempuan Indonesia dan dunia. Thank you for joining us. I'm Emil Faiza. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Baik, selanjutnya Bapak Ibu hadirin kami hormati, karena ini adalah acara yang sangat istimewa, tentu tidak lengkap apabila tidak diabadikan bersama-sama. Untuk itu kami undang Bapak serta Ibu untuk bisa hadir. Ada yang nanti berada di atas panggung, ada yang berada di depan panggung dengan tetap menerapkan protokol kesehatan COVID-19. Kami persilahkan Bapak dan Ibu untuk bersiap-siap menuju ke atas panggung dan berfoto bersama.